Liza Lim, you just heard the Italian premiere of your piece called
Table of Knowledge, yes, for solo double bass. And it refers actually to these psychotropic plants that are in a garden, in a medieval garden in Royaumont in France that I visited once. And it's this idea of these substances that transform your psyche, your very being. And so the different parts of the piece refer to plants like cannabis and henbane and belladonna.
That's why I heard these spooky sounds.
Yeah, and so the very last part where the double bassist has a string tied from the top string of his double bass, and it's a thread. Actually, it's just a cotton thread. It's the simplest thing you can imagine.
I was wondering, but it sounded like a juice harp.
That's right. So there's a cotton thread tied from the string to a little holder in his mouth, and he uses his mouth to modulate the sound. So you get all these overtones, and that part of the piece is called flying. It's this idea of, really taking off in a sort of hallucinatory state.
And has this string been on the double bass string all the time? Because then it would dampen, I think, the sound.
It's just very lightly tied with a knot. It's like the simplest technology, and the idea for this comes from a Vietnamese traditional instrument called the dan kni. It's a northern instrument which is played by a number of the different tribes there. And in the original, the dan kni, it's just a stick with no resonator, and the mouth acts as a resonator. And so here the double bass has like a double resonance. It has the resonance of its body and then what's coming out of the mouth of the player.
Did you work together on this piece with Florentin Ginot?
Yes, absolutely. It was completely necessary to work closely with the performer, to really achieve some of the techniques he was using, not just with the string, but these very specific multiphonics, these complex sounds. He's an incredibly inspiring musician. and he's really taking the double bass to a whole new level, I think, as a solo instrument, really expanding the palette of this instrument that they've been wonderful, extraordinary players and improvisers, particularly in the Italian tradition, Fernando Grillo and Scoronibio. But he's another generation of performer coming up and really interested in developing it as an instrument that big pieces are written for. Yeah.